'Cause I've been falling for you knee deep. Been losing my mind, but you don't wanna see me. You're playing for time.
The action's underway. Stamps' authority once again.
My word, this could go wrong.
On the brakes, goodness me, what a launch!
Look at that.
It just all comes down to this. Better now. There we go, indeed. Right, welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to round number 5 of your season. We will have the main race underway later on at the regular time of 8:30, but instead we are going to have on your screens just for the time being, we're going to have our sprint race, which is going to be underway very, very shortly. My name is Joseph Black. I'll be taking you through all of the action alongside, of course, Kyle SW. And I mean, Kyle, it's the first sprint race of the season, so the first sprint race for a couple of our drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, welcome everybody. And yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Excuse me. Oh, there was something in my throat there. Yeah, it's obviously around Belgium. So realistically, there are only 8 laps, I believe, but 8 very long laps. Longest race on the calendar, of course. So yeah, they're very long ones. But yeah, only 8 laps to enjoy at this present moment in time. But obviously, join us 8:30 for the main race, where we'll be doing a qualifying session, and then of course we will be doing the full laps of the race. I actually don't know how many there are. I thought in my head I knew, but I don't know. I'm going to assume it's around early 20s, but we'll find out then. But yeah, a few drivers have never joined us for a sprint, quite new to the league. So the likes of Alexander Vickel, who's on the grid, and who else have we got new on the grid? Harrison's not actually with us today. Well, yeah, the likes of Alexander Vickel has never done a sprint with us, so I'm sure he'll do well. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. Owen Boldero has actually messaged me earlier in the day and has said that he has set the fastest time in time trial out of everyone in the league, and he's feeling confident about winning this sprint. So I'm looking forward to seeing if he's able to pull that one off.
Should be very good to watch indeed. And well, we will be getting racing action on your screens very shortly. We will see whether Owen Boldero can live up to expectations. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. With all of the drivers, of course, it's short and sharp, and I believe it's 8 laps for the sprint. I think it's 22 for the race itself. So just a little bit of a unique situation for the drivers to contend with here today, because of course they get 8 extra laps, but 8 extra laps is quite a lot. As I can see your invites coming in, I'm connected to EA Services, which is my favourite thing that they've added to this game cycle. And well, now I'm having to pick my fan zone team. So
that's always annoying.
I don't understand why it's a thing. I really don't understand why it's a thing that happens, but yeah, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, we will just have to deal with it. At least they're not trying to sell us couches or anything like that anymore. But yeah, the quirks and fun things in the F125 game that, of course, we're stuck with for 2 years. But yeah, should be very, very good to see ourselves racing around Belgium here today. And I mean, iconic circuit. There's so many iconic moments.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's going back to the fan zone thing. Like, I'm not against it, but it should be in a different part of the game. It shouldn't be as you're trying to join a lobby and it says, you know, choose now. It should be, if I want to do it, I'll go into the menu and do it. But there's a lot of things that we want in this game that, unfortunately, they don't let us have. So, yeah, that's going to be one of those things. But yeah, a lot of very important moments happened here. Of course, some not so great. Obviously in the likes of F2. And yeah, obviously some really fun ones. Some really. I mean, I'd love to tell you off the top of my head some of those, but annoyingly, I can't actually think of any. But yeah, it's one of those tracks where I don't think you'll ever see it go. I know that they are putting it on the calendar a little less going forward, but you'll never see them remove it completely. You know, it's just going to be one of those tracks that will be with us. I mean, Forever's probably a big claim, but close enough to Forever, I would say. But it's a nice track. I am never particularly that good at it, but I definitely enjoy driving it. It's one of those ones. But yeah, we'll be obviously getting underway very shortly.
Yeah, we certainly will. I'm able to get in the lobby, so we'll be getting going within a minute's time, I think, and we will get our racing action underway very soon for 8 laps of the Belgian sprint race. Of course, join us at 8:30 for the main race itself, but as a little bit of a preamble, we are going to be getting underway, and well, perfect timing. We're going to be able to go trackside to the formation lap, ladies and gentlemen, and as you can see, it is a reverse sprint race. So it's a reverse grid for the sprint race. We're going to have Alexander De Vickel on that pole position. Brian Moore will be alongside him, and well, that's the 2 Haas cars in the top 2 rows of the grid. It's the 2 Kick Saubers as well, with Connor Stewart-Woodard, and followed by Matthew Gatches. Ethan Shackleton, 5th place, and alongside him will be Bert Welly, Lucas Aracini in 7th, and then Owen Boldero, Ollie Matthews, and Andrea Chenkovan will round out our 10-car grid. But it's a very good 10-car grid indeed. Of course, not all of our drivers, neither of the Williams drivers joining us for the sprint race. And, well, it means that everybody has a teammate, which will make for an interesting dynamic if they do decide to work together. We did see the 2 Aston Martins working very well last time out. But, yeah, we shall wait and see indeed. I obviously don't know at this point because I haven't seen the attendance officially. Are we going to be getting the Williams later?
We should be getting Regan, but I believe Harrison gave a late notification that he won't be making it. I've got back not very long ago back to my seat here, so I need to catch up on all that. But I believe Harrison won't be here for the main race. That same goes for Arias Stone and Daniel Riley. So not a full grid, unfortunately, this time out. Obviously, just to mention obviously to the viewers that, because of the time the sprint race is, it's optional for all of our drivers. You know, it's not a mandatory race that they need to do. So, yeah, so they don't turn up. They don't have to tell us they're not going to turn up. They just basically arrive if they're able to. But the main race is obviously mandatory, and they let us know in advance if they can't make it. So, but yeah, to say, you know, everyone's got a teammate here. One very exciting thing as well to mention that the RBs, they are actually in the team radio chat together as well. So this week we've got the Saubers, the Astons, and the RBs and the Racing Bulls, all in their team radio chat. So it's quite nice to see them being used. I think this is the first season someone other than myself and my old teammate actually use those channels, so it's good to see that. So everyone's going to be working together. It's going to be the Ferraris are going to be the only team, and the Hasses, the only 2 teams who won't be talking to each other during the race, but I'm sure they will discuss something prior. Reverse championship order. I'm not sure if we mentioned that, so that's why they're in the order they are, and we're going to get ready for the 5 red lights then.
We certainly are. It's going to be Alexander De Vickel pointing towards the outside line of the first corner. Alongside him, it will be the Kick Sauber facing the inside, and the lights are going to come on for the start of our first sprint race of the season. There's 5. The drivers are ready. And the action's underway. Owen Boldero gets a jump start straight away. It's not a good start for the Aston Martins because Ollie Matthews also was on the grid for a very long time. It's going to be very wide into the first corner from Alexander De Vickel, and Connor Stewart-Woodard and Brian Moore will make it a Sauber 1-2. Matthew Gatches pulling alongside Moore on the exit. Might get through on both of the Saubers, but not quite yet, as Owen Boldero already out of the session, spinning out of the first corner, and a terrible start for both of the Aston Martins. Bert Welly through on Brian Moore as they head up Eau Rouge and Radion and down the Kemmel Straight, and it will be Connor fighting with Gatches for the race lead. Bert Welly, big contact between himself and Moore, but he's been able to keep it going, and Matthew Gatches holds on to that race lead. Seracini challenging Moore for 4th place, has been able to make the move, and in the meantime, both of the Ferraris lurking on the back of Brian, as after turn number 1, he's not had the greatest of starts, and he might well drop down to 6th place.
Absolutely. What a fantastic start that was then. Yeah, that was that was a very fun one. And Alexander Vickel then No, Alexander Vickle. I just realised. I thought Alexander Vickle got the lead back. He didn't, did he? It was Matt Gatchis then who got the lead. So I completely misunderstood which Haas was doing what there. So that's a crazy one. Connor Stewart then probably the first time. Oh, as he goes wide and almost loses the car entirely. Probably the first time he's led a race, I think, in ABC. I'm sorry if that's not correct. As Matt Gatchis then goes wide himself, so he gets on the curb and got thrown wide, and that allows Burt to have a run on him. But yeah, apologies to Connor if that's wrong, but I feel like he's not led a race very often, if at all. So yeah, that was an absolutely wild one then. It looks like the Racing Bulls are going to cycle up. Looks like Bert's going to take it now, and Luca Saraceni's also going to come on through then. So that's always good to see. It looks like Ethan Shackleton then, not having the best start. Owen Baldera having a disaster of a start then. No idea what happened there. I did see him restart his game, so I'm assuming something's happened there. He has got the opportunity to rejoin. He can get back in, but yes, he has a driver penalty to serve, and his AI is probably going to do that for him. Probably this lap coming.
Most likely is what's going to happen. As you can see the pause screen, apologies for that. We'll turn on the OBS virtual camera so we can see what everyone is doing. Burt Welly gets a great run out of Radion. He's able to pull alongside and ahead of Matthew Gatchis. Bit of contact between Saraceni and Gatchis, but in the end Saraceni makes his way through. It's a 1-2 for the V-Carbs at the moment, and well, it was a couple of interesting moments, teamwork between the two V-Cubs, especially out of the final corner, trying to push Matthew Gatchis wide. But, well, he really tried to give him a go, but in the end was unsuccessful, but it doesn't matter anyway because he's been able to make his way through in the end, and it's a 1-2 for the team, so it's a very good start for the outfit, as Owen Baldera, as you say, has come into the pit lane. Everybody in the DRS, apart from Alexander Vickle, who of course started on that pole position, did not have a great start. He and Brian and Connor Stewart-Woodard have not benefited from the reverse grid race start, unfortunately, at this point in time. But of course the two V-Carbs have, and they are the biggest gainers at this point in time. Andrea Chenkovan is making his way through the field. He's 4th place at the moment, and of course he started in last, so he's doing a very good job to make his way further up the field. He's in the top half, and he might be challenging for a podium on Matthew Gatchis, especially because Gatchis doesn't have the DRS. Not that it matters, because Chenkovan gets through anyway. Ollie Matthews through on Brian Moore in the meantime, so 2 moves made as they headed through Blanchimont.
Absolutely, as Ethan Shackleton then is going to go side by side with Connor Stewart-Woodard then through the bus stop chicane there, and he looks like he's pulled that off. He has absolutely pulled it off, and he'll now be looking to hunt down his teammate Brian Moore. This seems to be the Ethan Shackleton we saw at the beginning of the season and not the Ethan Shackleton we saw last time out, which is a bit of a strange one. I'm not sure what's happened to Ethan this season. He's been very up and down, so hopefully he'll have some better races, and hopefully the main race will be a lot better for him. I'm sure he'll be able to start further up the order with a qualifying session that will happen prior to that. But yeah, so the RBs working well together. So the two teams that work really well together are the RBs and the Aston Martins, of course. With Owen Baldera then having dropped out the session, and had a drive-through penalty, not been a fantastic start for him. He is back in the session now, so he will hope for something to happen further up ahead. Just a reminder for everyone, only the top 8 will score here in this sprint. So Owen Baldera will be hoping for either a safety car or 2 disastrous coming together. That didn't really make any sense, but 2 cars coming together further up the field to allow him to go back. But actually, he's actually pit again, so not sure what's happening there. You probably won't be lapped. He still has a chance to finish on the lead lap, but this is definitely a far from ideal start for Owen Baldera. In fact, that's the drive-through penalty, isn't it? So I'm not sure what happened earlier. I'm not sure what his AI did then. He must have stopped for tyres, maybe? That's very odd. But yeah, as Ollie Matthews he's going to go side by side with Matthew Gatchis. Will he pull it off? At the moment, yes, but it's a long straight still to come yet.
Beautiful switchback from Ollie Matthews. Tried to tempt Matthew Gatchis to defend the outside line, which he did, and then he picked up the much better inside line and made his way through. Matthew Gatchis looking for a move back potentially. Is he going to try and go for the move as Connor Stewart-Woodard picks up our first penalty of the day? No, he doesn't. Ethan Shackleton, though, is going to get through on Brian Moore and will have to fight his way to get back into the DRS of Matthew Gatchis. Won't have it down the straight, nor will Ollie Matthews, and Gatchis will try to be able to capitalise, but can't quite do so yet. It'll be up to Blanchimont. It'll be up through, not Blanchimont, through the Kemmel Straight, which is where he's going to try and make the move. Connor drops another position, or no, he actually gains another position on Alexander Vickle. I thought he was going to drop back behind, but no, he made his way through, and it looks like there might have been a bit of contact, and Connor is going to allow Alexander back through and up into 8th place. Cenkovan, Luca Seracini and Bert Welly then. This looks like it's going to develop into the fight for the leaders. We're over halfway through this race now. It's absolutely flying by, and the two V-Cubs at the very top of the field are looking absolutely dominant. But as we know, Andrea Cenkovan is the quickest driver, and he will be trying to make his way through these two who are going to be working together as a team. Seracini is going to try and hold off Cenkovan, I think, as much as he can. I think that's going to be the game plan here, because if he can stay within 9/10 of a second of Bert, then he'll be able to just hold on as they head down the straights, which will be a huge advantage, because that's the benefit and that's the biggest part that you're going to gain from around this circuit. It will be the DRS straights, it will be the main straight, and it will be up the Kemmel straight as well. So if Seracini can stay within 9/10 of a second of his teammate, he's got a decent fighting chance of having a go at Cenkovan here.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew Cenkovan, of course, is the fastest driver. He is the Verstappen of APC. However, actually, as he is, Haas in the back of Luca Seracini. So Luca Seracini has defended that corner very, very well, not given any space for Andrew Cenkovan to come through. Now, I will be assuming he'll be doing the same into the bus stop chicane, which he is. So this is what he needs to do. He needs to keep Cenkovan behind at all costs, and this will protect his teammate up ahead. However, Andrew Cenkovan he always gets those good exits somehow. He always manages to get that one extra percentage that the other drivers can't. So they'll be hoping to mitigate that as we go through the session. But yeah, another 4 laps left to go then. So we've just crossed the halfway point. So 4 more laps left to go. And I'll be interested to see if they will be able to hold him behind. Of course, Luca running in Bert's DRS will help him defend from Andrea Cenkovan, but as you can see here, he's got a fantastic run down the Kemmel straight, and he will be looking to pull out. Luca will defend this. I will be surprised if he doesn't, which he does. Just shows his hand there and says, if you go for it, I will be there. But pulls back in just before the corner, and it's them 3 in the same order for another lap then.
It was a late defensive move from Luca Seracini into the braking zone of the chicane. It was very late from Seracini, in fact. I think he wasn't going to go and defend unless Cenkovan went for a move. And the fact that Cenkovan went relatively late meant that Luca Seracini had to go even later. But in the end, he was able to save himself, carry on, and he will just keep doing the same thing. He actually came in last week to speak to us in the interview room for the first time since I've been here, as that's another shaped move from Cenkovan late. I think he knows that Seracini is going to be defending basically as soon as Cenkovan is going to try and make the move. I think that's the idea from Seracini here, and I think Cenkovan's already sussed that out and has decided that he's going to try and work against it. He's going to try and scare Luca into making a late defensive move that is too late. By that time, Cenkovan will have made his way through, or it'll be too late, and Luca Seracini will have to outbrake himself, and then Cenkovan can make his way through anyway. But at the moment, a very good rear guard from the Italian, who remains in second place, and I think they might even go side by side, the two V-Cubs, just to cut off a bit more of the circuit as they head down to turn number 1. Seracini doesn't quite get the exit to be able to do that. That is a strategy they can deploy, and I think Cenkovan's going to start to have a little bit of frustration eke into his game, but with 3 laps left, he's still got plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, Andrea's going to probably have to take him by surprise somewhere, do a move where he's not expecting it, although he has had a great exit here then. So Luca is going to find it very hard to defend, and actually he might go past Bert here. They're going to swap, but they're not. So Bert isn't defending this at all. It's actually going to break really late though, and so they both break extremely late there, much later than Andrea Cenkovan even dares, and are able to both get in the corner, although in the opposite order. So I wonder if this is a setup thing. If Andrea Cenkovan has much less downfalls, which means he is so much faster on the straights, but he's not able to break that late because he won't make the corner. So that's potentially what's at play there. I was expecting to see Bert defend that as Luca went past, so they can DRS swap and then the other one defends, but he didn't. Yeah, he kind of let them go side by side, but was able to break out later and keep that one. So as I was saying, yeah, Andrea Cenkovan will probably need to take him by surprise if he's going to win this one then, because they're doing extremely well to defend. Luca will need to be very careful at how he defends, although Bert is now the car obviously ahead of Andrea Cenkovan, but if it becomes Luca again, he does need to be very careful how he goes about doing that, because a late move can end up in a crash. I think it's been fair so far, but that could easily change as they're now going side by side. Then Bert Welly and Andrea Cenkovan are going to take it all the way to the bottom of chicane. Andrea Cenkovan completely cuts the corner there. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a warning, but that has worked for him then, and now he has a free run, and he's been span out by Burt then. So that is unbelievable. So into the bus stop chicane. Looks like Burt broke well too late and hit the rear end of Andrew Chenkovan and spanning round. So this could be Andrew Chenkovan's chance at the win in the sprint race thwarted.
Was there actually contact between the two? I couldn't quite see. I tried to watch the replay, which of course you may well be doing on the replay after the race, but I didn't see that there was any contact between the two. But either way, Chenkovan's dropped down, and it will be the two V-Cubs back in control of this race, and with no pressure from behind, but Chenkovan will be angry, and Chenkovan will be trying to chase in now and make his way through a bit more aggressively than maybe he did before. We might see the stewards' involvement post-race. We're not going to we're not going to try and talk about that at all. We're not going to create any rumours that don't need to be created, because of course we are not the stewards. As Alexander de Vickel picks up a 3-second time penalty, he joins both Kick-Saubers in that party. And well, Vickel was fighting very aggressively earlier on. We weren't able to catch much of it on the broadcast, but he was fighting a lot earlier on with Connor Stewart-Woodard, so it's a surprise that he's dropped off so aggressively as Burt Welly runs too wide, and that's a 3-second time penalty added to the V-Carb's name. That will drop him not just one place, not just two, not just three, but at the moment, as it stands, he will drop all the way down to 5th for Burt Welly from the race lead. His teammates going to have to do some incredible teamwork on the final lap.
Yeah, so with that incident, I'm not actually 100% sure if they came together. I mean, it looked from my angle like they did, but of course, I'm not 100% sure on that. However, yes, I had to say that's how I said that. But yeah, if they did, that will absolutely be sent to the steward. So they'll obviously be able to decide that. That is not for me to do. One thing while we discussed the stewards, another battle that has been going on for a while here, and actually these will be on the replay cam. Some of these moves is Connor Stewart-Woodard and Alexander Vickel for the final point. Then they have been going side by side. They have been swapping positions, but they've also hit each other a few times. So I'm expecting to see some stewards reports there as well. Now, two things can happen here. Lucas Erasini can try and back up Andrea Chenkovan and actually Andrea Chenkovan, I don't know, this is a gap to leader. Yeah, try and back him up and try and allow his teammate to get that 3 seconds on this final lap, or they can swap and Burt can just sacrifice his race and then to hold up the pack behind and let Lucas Erasini try and go for the win. I think the former, will probably be the preferred option, so then they both can get on the podium. But it really depends if they think they can hold Chenkovan off. But we're on the final lap now then, so it's very, very doable, although Burt now is looking to run away. So actually, this strategy could be getting deployed now, but Andrew Chenkovan will be wise to it. He's a very, very smart driver, and he'll know that this potentially is something that they might think about and might try to go past in an unorthodox place. But I'm sure he'll do it safely, of course. So let's see how this last lap goes. Lucas Erasini is dropping off the back. Whether this is intentional or not, I do not know. But this is probably the last chance he's going to have to hold up Andrew Chenkovan, because after you get around this corner, it's basically flat to the bus stop chicane, and he won't be able to hold him up much longer. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how this one's going to end, as we're very much almost there. How time has flown, and actually he's going to go side by side. Is Luca going to be able to defend this one? So far, so good, but Andrew Chenkovan is carrying so much more speed through there, but I'll let you take the final corners.
Where it was absolutely intentional, him trying to hold off Andrea Chenkovan, but in the end, with that straight line speed of the Ferrari, it was inevitable that it wasn't going to be Burt Welly to take the victory. It will be Lucas Erasini for his first win, Andrea Chenkovan in second, and Ollie Matthews will snatch that final podium position. Ethan Shackleton will come home in 4th, with Burt Welly dropping to 5th. Matthew Gatches in 6th, and then the two Kick-Saubers 7th and 8th, with the Haas of Alexander de Vickel, who will come home 9th, and Owen Boldero, who will limp home in 10th and final position. But I mean, it was never really going to be on, was it? He really gave it his best shot, did Luca. Really tried to hold off all of the drivers behind him. He was able to get it up to 2.6 seconds, but as soon as the slipstream came on around Blanchimont after No Name, that was curtains, I think, for the defence of the race lead, and that is very unfortunate for Burt Welly. But promising signs of things to come, maybe, for the V-Carbs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you really have to do it in the corners where it's hard to overtake. So there's a few options here on the lap where you can do it, but I think Luca didn't really do enough in those corners when it counted, because once you've got past it, once you've got into the third sector, there is absolutely no way of doing it. There's no chance at all. So involved there, I have no idea. He's going to go over the line in reverse then. So finishing in style with 0 points, unfortunately. Connor Woodard was able to eventually finish ahead of Alexander Vickel. So Alexander Vickel still trying to get that first point, if I'm not mistaken, in APC. But I'm sure that will come very soon.
Yeah, certainly will. It will be Lucas Erosini taking the victory, Andrew Chenkafan in second place, and Ollie Matthews rounding out the podium for your sprint race. Ethan Shackleton picks up fourth place and Burt Welly in fifth. Matthew Gatchers takes home sixth, and the two Kick Saubers, Brian Moore ahead of Connor Stewart-Woodard, will be seventh and eighth. Alexander Vickel will be ninth, and then rounding out the top 10, and all of the drivers was Owen Boldero, whose backwards driver was probably quicker than his forwards driving throughout the course of that race, although he did, of course, pick up fastest lap. But that is the end of our sprint race. And, well, it's looking good for the main race itself.
Yeah, let me first correct myself. Alexander Vickel does have 2 points to his name, so apologies for suggesting that he doesn't. But he'll obviously want many more if he possibly can. But yeah, if the main race is anything like that, then this is going to be a great one. As much as we expect to see Andrew Chenkafan starting a lot higher up than last, of course, but if anything happens, has a bad qualifying, something like that, and he has to fight his way through again, then that's going to be a fantastic one. The Racing Bulls look like they are going to do well out of this one. Whether they can do another win, it's yet to be seen, but they'll definitely get a great result. Ollie Matthews then, top 3 again, so showing great pace this season, and he will be looking to continue that in the main race. Obviously, he's currently in second in the standings. So the closest rival to Andrew Chenkafan, so he'll hope to get closer. But yeah, the main race, I'm sure that's going to be 22 laps of absolute chaos in the good way, and hopefully all the drivers will finish as they did here. Although one did finish backwards, but we'll see if he will do better. That being Owen Boldero, he'll do better in the main race if he's able to not disconnect.
Certainly will be. I did ask you a question in DMs, but I will ask it once again. Do we do interviews after the sprint or not? I don't
We don't do interviews after the sprint, no.
So I can see Ollie Matthews raring to go.
Oh yeah, no. But the main race is so soon that if we did interviews, we'd end up going straight into the race. So.
Well, that's exactly what I thought. So I will leave it there. But that was very, very, very good in terms of a sprint race. It's a sign of things to come, maybe for the Racing Bulls. But either way, it's going to be a very exciting evening of action. There's your 8 laps of the Belgium sprint race. We're going to be having the 22 laps very, very shortly.